So you know, it's just a seed planted. Look what grows. We've literally gotten MCCs from all over the country together to say we love all of our brothers and sisters, no matter where you are.
Forever I'll stand. Nothing compares to the promise I have in you.
Another huge goal of this Caravan of Hope is that we're going to all be able to get together, all the churches that I mentioned, we're going to be able to get together in Baton Rouge next Sunday. You know, when a crisis hits like this, hope really goes out the window. You feel so lonely and so isolated, just overwhelmed by all the stress that's just added to your life. So one of the things that's really exciting is we're going to go and we're going to join worship with MCC Baton Rouge. It's going to be the very first time that MCC of Greater New Orleans is going to be able to bring its congregants together since the hurricane and join together in joint worship. And at their request, we're going to have a revival of sorts. It's going to be a revival of our hearts, a revival of their hope, and just, it's going to be the starting point. That they know that they'll truly have a future, and they know that they'll have support on what lays ahead. Another component of this is that there's a lot of animals who they don't know where their mothers and fathers are. They have been separated from their families. There are tens of thousands of animals that are still stranded in the city of New Orleans and the parishes that surround it. And so it was the passion of Stephanie, my partner, that really started the fact that we pulled together an emergency animals team that includes not only her, but who went with her was two complete strangers, veterinary tech and a person who works with feral cats. And they are being joined by 8 other teams from literally around the country to go to Best Friends Sanctuary in Tylertown, Mississippi. And the calls that I've gotten from her, they've only been few because communication is really poor. But what she's told me, because she's gone into New Orleans, the outskirts of New Orleans, and she said, Pat, it's nothing like they show on the news. It's just like an atomic bomb went off. They drive down the street to go and feed the animals, to go into homes and feed them because there's no more room at the inn. There's no more room in the shelters for these animals, so they can't even rescue them. So they're going to feed them. So they drive down the streets and they hear the cats, the dogs crying. They hear them meowing, barking, howling because they're hungry, they're scared. So they're going in there to help them to at least feed them. And it's really times like this that we got to remember that those parts of God's creation are as important as the two-legged ones. A plea has been sent out that anybody who has any experience and time to be able to go to Tylertown, Mississippi, and to help, get onto bestfriends.org, humanela.org, and you find out their contact information, you contact them, and go down and help them rescue the rest of these dogs. It's paramount. It's paramount. There's literally only days left for this. So I'm going to invite people to go and check that out because there is important. You know, she told me that that besides all of the pain of seeing all the dogs with no homes, she said, you know, the shelter that she's working with, their goal is to reunite these animals with their families. And she told me the story, 2 stories. She said, you know, the other night at 1 o'clock in the morning, this big burly motorcycle guy comes into the shelter because he heard his dog was there. And he finds his dog. And he just fell on the ground and just sobbed because the only thing he had left was his dog. And another woman, she said, came in the next day with her daughter in the car and big dog crate in the back and dog food. And the only thing she had left was her daughter and her cat. And that's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why it's like one person can make a difference. You can't do it all, but if everybody does one thing, just one thing, we can make it through this.
I wanted to bring folks together for just a second to, first of all, give you a brief update of where we're at. And then for the people who are going on the caravan, we're going to meet, we'll go downstairs for that. We're going to be going to Houston first. That's our first destination point to deliver items. The San Diego truck, that big enterprise truck out there, that's going to be unloaded. The majority of their stuff will be unloaded in Houston. Where it's going to be, we've been working with the MCC there, and there is an out-of-the-way shelter that the people aren't getting served, and primarily African-American families. That's where the first load is going to go. We are also going to be bringing sealed medication or samples to Montrose Clinic, which is really exciting, especially HIV meds. We're then going to proceed on to Baton Rouge. And at that point, the animal group is going to be going straight to Tylertown to bring all of our animal supplies. Somebody came earlier and donated some stuff, and she's friends with that person, and I just literally got off the phone with them, and we're going to be able to take excess from them to make sure that the tractor trailer that Trish secured for us from her brother's trucking company, who's paying another trucking company for this big rig to go out there, will be filled. And our other goal, besides going to a place in Baton Rouge, and it looks like our destination in Baton Rouge is going to be the Jewish Federation shelter, which our very dear friends from Kolami Synagogue are working with. That will be our destination in Baton Rouge, and we wanted to go to Hattiesburg or someplace similar where people were not getting services, because people aren't getting services. And that woman I just got off the phone with has a connection in Hattiesburg, and so they are desperately in need. So everything that you have collected and everything that you are doing today, I've got to tell you, is going to go directly to someone who needs it. I cannot stress to you how much that we here in West Hollywood, in the comfort of our place, how you are literally going to change a life.